Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, bringing you some of the best college football news, predictions, and analysis. And before we begin, if you haven't already, go check out all the links in our description below, where you can go follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Gridiron Expert. Visit our official website, thegridironexpert.com, where you can sign up for our weekly newsletter and sign up for our expert picks, where for just $30 you will receive every single one of our 2019 college football spread picks. You can also sign up to join our ESPN College Pick'em group, where we will be predicting college football games every single week. You're not going to want to miss out on the fun and competition over there. The links for all of those things are in our description below. Make sure you go check them out. Well, you can't say it wasn't exciting. Week 0 provided two thrilling games to kick off the 2019 college football season. But both of those games were extremely sloppy and extremely full of mistakes, which is to be expected with most teams when the season kicks off. But maybe it wasn't to be expected with the number 8 team in the country, with Florida. And that's where we'll kick off this Week 0 recap, kicking things off with the game that I think everybody had their eyes on going into last night. Number 8 Florida taking on Miami, the first official game, FBS game, of the college football season. And it was a big one. An interstate rivalry game, these two teams having not met since 2013, but still having that bitter rivalry and that bitter hatred against each other. And I will say that the game was fun to watch. That's why we said that at the beginning. It was very exciting. You can't say it wasn't exciting. But those last 5 minutes of the game between the Gators and the Hurricanes were some of the wildest minutes of college football that I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Florida got a crucial stop up by 4 points and had 4.5 minutes left to just run out the clock and escape with a win down in Orlando. Dan Mullen, why? Why throw the ball on first down, up by 4, with just a little over 4 minutes left in the game? Why would you do that when Felipe Franks has been so inconsistent and you've been running the ball practically the entire game? Yes, with little success, but why? The Gators threw the ball, Felipe Franks threw it right to the Hurricanes, and Miami had a wide open chance to go ahead and win this game and pull off one of the biggest upsets already of the 2019 college football season. Florida did everything they could to give Miami this win, and Miami had every opportunity to get the win over their rival in the Gators. After that interception, Miami had very good field position. Yes, they had an unsportsmanlike conduct. It pushed them back a little bit. But over the course of the last 4.5 minutes, Miami fumbled the ball 3 times. Each one of those fumbles was recovered by the Hurricanes. 2 of those fumbles were by the new quarterback in Jarren Williams. And obviously, ball security is something that Manny Diaz and this Hurricane staff is going to have to address and really work on with Williams, who really did not do bad in his first ever career start, going 19 for 30 with 214 yards through the air and 1 touchdown. The offensive line, though, as we mentioned in our Florida-Miami preview, was one of the downfalls for the Hurricanes, as Florida's defense racked up 10 sacks and 16 tackles for a loss. Those are outstanding numbers, unbelievable numbers from a Florida defense. And we mentioned that in our recap in our preview, that it was going to come down to who had the edge on the defensive line, because both of these offensive lines were extremely poor. We saw that Florida couldn't run the ball very well, and Miami didn't have any pass protection for Jarren Williams. Florida's defense, the defensive line especially, took advantage of that, and that was probably the biggest difference maker in this game. But despite those 3 fumbles, despite all those sacks that we mentioned, Miami still had opportunities to go down there and win the game. They got a pass interference call on 4th and 34. Florida, what are you doing? Once again, you look at this play, had Miami caught that pass, they were well short of the first down. Yet Florida committed a pass interference call on 4th and 34, giving the Hurricanes an automatic first down and keeping their drive alive to pull off the upset. Then they had another pass interference call on 3rd and 12 with just a minute left in the game. And then another pass interference call in the end zone that luckily for the Gators was picked up. They ended up deciding that there was no pass interference, but I know many Miami fans will disagree with that. Both sides of the ball, for the Hurricanes and the Gators, was an extremely undisciplined game. Plenty of unsportsmanlike conducts, way too many penalties. Miami, 14 penalties for 118 yards. Florida, 9 penalties for 100 yards. Ball security, we mentioned with Jarren Williams, that was an issue. It was more of an issue for Florida. 4 turnovers in this game. Miami unable to capitalize on many of those turnovers. This was a game that Florida should have won by at least double digits. Florida probably should have been up in the second quarter 21-3. But 2 fumbles by the Gators is what kept Miami in this game and really changed the momentum for that. Felipe Franks, a guy last year that got a lot of hate and a lot of criticism at times, especially after that Missouri loss in the Swamp, at times looked like a veteran quarterback. He looked like a solid quarterback, looked like the right man for the job. And at times he looked like a deer in the headlights, a guy that shouldn't have ever been out on the football field in the first place. Franks went 17 for 27, 254 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, both terrible throws, one straight to a Miami defender, one overthrown that was tipped and then picked off, but did get a rushing touchdown. Looking at this game, there are a lot of things that need to be addressed for the Gators and the Hurricanes. A lot of concerns for the Gators and the Hurricanes, more so for the Gators. Because this was the number 8 team in the country, guys. This was the number 8 team in the country with a second-year head coach in Dan Mullen who led the Gators to a 10-win season last year. A team that allegedly had a veteran quarterback that certainly didn't look the part in this game. A team that absolutely owned the edge in the secondary yet couldn't get that many stops. Now, Jaron Williams did not take that many shots deep. They were able to draw some pass interference calls, but right off the bat you saw that Manny Diaz and Dan Enos' plan was to get some short screen passes, slants across the middle, to not force Williams to take some shots deep and try to spread the field with this Florida defense. But Florida, way too many concerns, more concerns than Miami, who has excuses. A brand new quarterback, a freshman quarterback at that, a brand new head coach, and Manny Diaz. And yet they took the number 8 team in the country all the way down to the wire, 24-20. Florida escapes with the victory in Orlando, but some major questions and concerns going forward as we continue through this 2019 college football season. So that was the first game of the season. It was a wild one at that. I'm not even a Florida or a Miami fan, and it had my heart racing a mile a minute the entire time. So a phenomenal game, and even better with it being a rivalry game to kick off this season. Now the nightcap was just as well, just as good. I don't know, I hope you stayed up for this game. Hawaii and Arizona. The Rainbow Warriors, a 10.5-point underdog going up against the Wildcats from the Pac-12. And this game was an absolute shootout. 1,134 yards of combined offense and 58 first downs. 58 first downs between Hawaii and Arizona. 2 great quarterbacks going at it between Khalil Tate over at Arizona and Cole McDonald with Hawaii. Khalil Tate kind of returned to form. He struggled a lot through last year. We knew that because he had some injuries. Didn't look great in that season opener last year, but looked better this year in the season opener against Hawaii. Throwing for 361 yards, 3 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions, and had 108 rushing yards. Unfortunately, Tate needed 109 rushing yards. An absolutely thrilling ending. Tate, from the 30-yard line, was scrambling to try to send this game into overtime and was tackled at the 1-yard line as time expired, and Hawaii escaped with a 45-38 victory over the Wildcats. And that's even more crazy to believe considering that Hawaii had 6 turnovers in this game. Let that sink in for a little bit. 6 turnovers, including 4 interceptions from Cole McDonald. He had a great performance, 378 yards and 4 touchdowns through the air, but also threw for 4 interceptions and ended up actually getting benched in this game. Nick Rolovich, the head coach for Hawaii, even came out and said that you shouldn't win a game when you have 6 turnovers. So he credited a lot to this victory to their defense, who got the crucial stop when it mattered the most, who forced 2 interceptions from Khalil Tate, and were able to escape with a huge victory for the Rainbow Warriors. And before we conclude that recap, I can't afford to not mention the player of the game from Hawaii and Arizona, Cedric Byrd, who had 4 touchdowns last night, 14 receptions, and 224 yards. An unbelievable night for Cedric Byrd and this Hawaii offense. And now you have to wonder, Arizona fans, did this Kevin Sumlin experiment, is it worth it? Is it going to work out? After a disappointing 5-7 season in 2018, including a disappointing finish, blowing a huge lead to their rival in Arizona State, they open up the season with a terrible, terrible defensive performance, despite getting 6 turnovers, a terrible defensive performance, and the inability to capture a win over a Mountain West opponent in Hawaii. And I'm not dogging Hawaii. They're a good team. We had them winning 7 games right now. We actually missed this game. We had Arizona winning this game. and it did not happen. So Hawaii could be even better than what we had them projected. But you have to wonder, will the Kevin Sumlin era end in Tucson sooner rather than later? Because it has been a very abysmal start, first 2 seasons already for Kevin Sumlin and the Wildcats. But an absolutely thrilling night of college football, thrilling way to end it. Hawaii pulling off a pretty big upset by some, 10.5-point underdogs to kick off the season 1-0, and Arizona, like Florida and maybe Miami, have a lot of things to figure out as the season continues on through 2019. But week 0 is concluded. Now it is time to get down to the bulk of college football season. The big games are going to kick off this Thursday night and going to carry on. We have football every day from Thursday through Monday. It's finally back. We couldn't be more happy. We couldn't be more excited. I know the same could be said for you guys. College football is back in full force, and so will everything here at the Gridiron Expert. So you're not going to want to miss anything that we have here coming for you over the next 4 or 5 months. It's going to be a blast. We're already off to a great start, and I can't wait to see what the rest has in store. So guys, once again, thank you for watching us here on YouTube. Go follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Gridiron Expert. Go check out our official website, thegridironexpert.com, where you can sign up for our weekly newsletter. Our next one will be coming out this Tuesday. And you can also sign up for our expert picks, where once again, for just $30, you will receive every single one of our 2019 college football spread picks, including the postseason. And of course, our first picks will be released this Wednesday, August 28th, right before the Week 1 games begin on Thursday. But of course, you can purchase those picks over the course of the entire season because it is a year-long subscription. And also, once again, sign up for our ESPN College Pick'em group. Those games will begin on Thursday as well. You're not going to want to miss any of those. A lot of fun, a lot of competition. Don't miss out on any of it. Thank you for watching us here again. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you next time on The Gridiron Expert.